What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back, and I'm kind of making a sad video today because I love virtual reality. I own just about every headset. I own a PlayStation VR 1, PlayStation VR 2, Quest 1, and a Quest 3. So I'm a huge fan of VR. So to make this video does not make me happy at all. And basically, the gist that I'm going to explain over the next 10-15 minutes is this. PlayStation VR 2 has officially been abandoned by Sony. They've walked away from their own device, just as they have the Vita and many other devices that they've walked away from, and they don't care about VR. There, I said it. Now, if you think that's hyperbole, fine, it probably is hyperbole, but let's walk through some articles that I've lined up and present my case, my evidence to show you why Sony has walked away from their own product. And I'm going to forget 2023. Largely an unforgettable year for PlayStation VR 2. No real first-party titles, no real sales, no real anything out of Sony. But things started to heat up in 2024. So let's start there with February 27th, 2024. Basically, the anniversary of PlayStation 2. And what does Sony do? What does Sony do on the anniversary of PlayStation VR 2? Well, they shut down studios that are responsible for making some of the best first-party Sony VR titles. Article here from Road to VR. It says, Sony to shutter Blood and Truth London studio. Layoffs also at Horizon Call of Mountain studio. Now, for those that aren't aware, Blood and Truth was an amazing first-party Sony game for PlayStation VR 1. It is in many top 10 lists of all time for PlayStation VR 1. And Horizon Call of the Mountain was a very good PlayStation VR 2 launch title. So Sony, who has no PlayStation VR 2's first-party support, has two studios that actively work on this stuff. They closed them. Now, this doesn't sit well with me that they're not supporting their own product and they actively just closed some studios. Now, this was February, and I got some people's eyebrows raising saying, what is going on here? This doesn't seem right. Why would Sony invest all this money in PlayStation VR 2 and shutter their own studios? Makes no sense. So now, let's go to February 22nd, basically a week before this. And Sony has made the decision to let PC users be able to take their PlayStation VR 2 and use it on their PC. So basically, Sony killed their own studios, and now they're letting PC take over and say, we don't care. We're not going to support this headset, so we're going to just open source it, and we're going to let you go to Steam and take care of it that way. So you want to play Half-Life 2, Alex? Go for it. But we ain't giving you anything from our side. You're going to have to get it from the PC. Another nail in the coffin for PlayStation support from Sony themselves. So this was both megaton announcements in the same week in February. So now let's keep going. So this was March 18th. Rumors started to fly that Sony has halted PlayStation VR 2 production because their backlog is way too big, meaning they produced more headsets than they sold. So if you look at this article, there was a Bloomberg report, which many people called bogus at the time. I'm not sure it's bogus based on everything that I'm about to present to you over the next 5 minutes here. So Bloomberg says that PlayStation 2 sales have declined each quarter since February of last year. And so this article says they got to do something. And Sony is basically putting the production on hold, but they didn't do any price cuts. So they fired some studios, they opened to support the PC, and now they're halting production. This was just a few months ago. And so let's go to another article. Now the articles are coming in hot and heavy. People are like, PlayStation VR 2 looks pretty bleak. Is this the next Vita? So now people are looking at everything that's happened to Sony and PlayStation VR 2, and they're starting to question, what is going on here? Where's the support? Where's the first-party support? And they're coming up with the conclusion that this thing is headed for disaster. So this article says, I wish Sony would give me a reason to play PlayStation VR 2. Ouch. Ouch. So let's keep going. So now, there was a price cut. Finally, a couple days ago. Sony finally realizes they need a price cut to push this. And they wrap this price cut around some sale. They're trying to promote this as a good thing. But it's a year and a half almost. And they finally dropped the price on a sale. And is this going to tempt folks in? No. Because people can look on the outside and see that Sony cannot care anything about their own product. They've killed some VR studios, like I mentioned. They're opening this up to PC support because they don't want to support it. And $100 price cut is what we're looking at here. So this was all little pieces. But what I'm about to show you next, this is the reason why I'm making this video. And it has to do with the #1 game on PlayStation VR 1 in my humble opinion. It's on many people's best of list in the top 5. And that, my friends, is Astrobot Rescue Mission. Astrobot Rescue Mission is the best, in my opinion, PlayStation VR 2 game out there. It has a Metacritic score of 90. It is on many people's top 5 list, top 3 list of PlayStation VR games to play. It is a first-party title. Astrobot was created in VR. It started in VR. It was born in VR. So it was a no-brainer that when PlayStation VR 2 came out, everyone's like, here we go. Let's get some Astrobot 2. Fire up the first-party studio. Come on, Sony. You can do it. And we waited. And we waited. And here we are. No Astrobot. But then Sony announced the state of play for yesterday, May 30th. May 30th. And the rumor was Astrobot is going to get announced. And there was one other piece of information that came out of this leak. The leak was no PlayStation 2 support will be added to this title, to this character that was born in VR, that sold Sony headsets, that is the unofficial mascot of PlayStation VR 2. And the state of play came yesterday, and we did get an Astrobot announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the trailer. Look, it's Astrobot. Yeah, this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. Let's fast forward, guys. It's a long trailer. So here he goes. Look, Astrobot's doing his thing. Woo! This is exactly what we want as VR users. But let's get to the end of this trailer. It's a long trailer. And here we go. Astrobot. Woo! Here he goes. Make it. Show us. It's coming to September 6th. Coming to PlayStation 5. Huh. Wait, let me pause this. Oh, I gotta pause that, guys, because you have to see something here. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that PlayStation 5 box. Do you see a VR headset? Do you see a VR required on that PlayStation 5 label? Do you see a VR mode on that? The answer is no. And it's because Sony has decided to make Astrobot a VR created game and make it non-VR and screw over everybody who purchased the headset for a game like this. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing Astrobot or this game. This game will be great. I'm dissing Sony for walking away from PlayStation VR 2. I am dissing Sony for putting out a product and basically letting it die over the last year and a half. And it's unfair to supporters like myself and every other person that bought this headset expecting some type of support, first-party support for this product. Now it looks like the heavy lifting for this product for PlayStation VR 2 will have to come from the indie developers, just like most of the PlayStation VR 1's life. We got some first-party support, much more than we're getting from Sony today. So when this announcement came out and it was not officially confirmed, and here's an article that talks about Astrobot's lack of PlayStation VR compatibility isn't going down well with fans. it should be very least a hybrid game. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't have a flat version and the VR version. There's no reason. The reason that they're not doing it is because they don't care. They're done with VR. It's painfully obvious. The Quest 3, on the other hand, is absolutely crushing it. They're getting games released 10, 15 a month. Sony's not getting it. If Sony's getting games, it's ports from the Quest. So it's very, very, it's looking like PlayStation VR 2 will always be an uphill climb. It'll have to come from the indie developers, and that's just the way it's going to be. Sony made it this way. They chose to take the capital resources and move it elsewhere. And it's fine. There are people that are going to say, hey, Kev, if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. But yeah, but you're self-fulfilling your own prophecy by not making the attempt to put the best title in VR. You're basically saying it's not going to sell and we're going to make sure it doesn't sell. It's done. And that is not right. So it's not dead. The games will be coming out for Sony, but it's dead in many people's eyes. Quest is where it's at. I'm going to actually go play some Quest in a few minutes. What do you think? Is it over for PlayStation VR 2? Why have they released this product and not supported it? It's a year plus since its release. There's no excuses. This Astrobot announcement is the last straw for many people. I'm not the only one who feels this way. I just wanted to get some thoughts out there and get it off my chest. So I wanted to see what you think of this announcement as well, with all the rumors that's going on. And then this announcement. It's very hard to look at the future of PlayStation VR in a bright light. I hope you like this video. Let me know down below. Am I going too far? Is there something going on here? Do you agree or disagree? I always like to hear what other people think. So I'm out of here. Have a good day, everybody. I'll see you soon.